The national shutdown over the high cost of living continues across the country today. Two of South Africa's largest union federations, that's COSATU and SAFTU, are leading the demonstrations. We've got reporters out today. Kopano Gumbi is in Pretoria. Refiloe Seboko is in Mahikeng, while Nasiphi is live for us in Cape Town. We can't see Nasiphi yet. We'll get to her later. Kopano, let me start with you in the capital. We're waiting for that big moment when the memorandum is handed over at the union buildings. But you've been speaking to some of the demonstrators. What are they telling you?
Absolutely, people are coming in region by region, as you can see behind me here, coming in to make their concerns heard, and their demonstration, excuse us, their demonstration to be seen by people. As you can see, many of them are coming in. We've been speaking to people from a range of federations. SAFTU, an old lady came to us to say she wants to know about what is happening with homes and education in South Africa. She says she's not been with a house since 1996. But as some people continue to stream in here, waiting to hear or be addressed by the leadership of the various federations, they're also hoping to see Minister in the Presidency, to come out and receive that memorandum, the memorandum of demand. As we understand, the economy right now going through quite a difficult period and time, and so it'll be interesting to see government's response to their demands, that mostly the demands are financial demands, an increase in salaries, intervention in some way or the other in terms of the petrol prices. All of these things somewhat out of control of the government right now, so it'll be interesting to see how they respond to that. But in the meantime, activity seems to be building around here in the gardens, many people walking in here, getting ready to participate in the strike and have their demands heard, Timbekile.
And Kopano, the challenge with many of the issues today, when you look at the cost of living, etc., is that they're unlikely to be addressed by morning tomorrow, for example, after this memorandum has been handed over.
Absolutely, Timbekile. That is the concern, that any kind of change, meaningful change, that many people would be hoping to see here will take a lot of time and would require a lot of capital from the government, which, as we know, they currently do not have. Rightly or wrongly, the economy is where it is, and the budget is finite and has already been allocated for many of these situations, especially for public servants. They know that they had a wage agreement that was set aside, and now they're asking for a 6% or inflation plus increase, which government has committed to a 0% increase for this financial year, at least offering 1.5% to 2%, which we know may not be possible given the constraints that we have.
Kopano Gumbi, thank you very much for that update from Pretoria. Let's go to Mahikeng in the northwest. Bring in reporter Refiloe Seboko. Refiloe, workers where you are, do they believe that an increase in salaries would go a long way in addressing their challenges?
They sure do, Tembekile, believe that the increase in their salaries will really help them to face this high rising prices, cost of living, and they are saying it's just not acceptable that there's an increase on food, on fuel and everything else, but their salaries are not increasing. And as you can see behind me, the singing there, the members of COSATU here, they are saying they are waiting for Premier Bushimabe to come and receive their memorandum of demands. We understand that here where we are in the legislature, MEC of Social Development in the Northwest Province, Buitumelo Milwa, she's here. She seems to be one of those delegated to come and address, or rather receive that memorandum. However, members are saying they don't want MECs to be the ones that are receiving their memorandum, and they say that they are going to wait here until Premier of the Northwest, Bushimabe, comes here in the legislature and come and receive that memorandum of their demands. You remember when we talked to who is the Secretary of COSATU in the Northwest Province, he said that in that letter of demands, amongst others, is the price of fuel to be decreased, price of food to be decreased, together with the issues of gender-based violence to be addressed. We saw in some of the placards that they've been there that there needs to be firm and stem dealings of perpetrators who continue to victimize women in particular. particular, and children. However, that is one of the items that is in their letter of demands. They're saying they're waiting for Premier Bushimape to come and receive their letter. We also saw MEC of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation in the Northwest, Tsotso Tlhape. She's also one of those who are here saying that we're prepared to come and receive that memorandum. However, members are saying we don't want MEC, we want Premier Bushimape in person to come and receive that memorandum.
And do we know if that'll happen?
Well, we understand that MEC Tlhape, together with MEC Boitumelo Moiloa, they went inside the legislature. They said that they are going to call the Premier to check his availability where he is, and also that he'll be able to make his way to the legislature and also receive that letter of demands. However, they have not came out, Tembekile, to come and inform the members here whether they've been able to access Premier Bushimape or not. But these members are firm and they are adamant in saying we are not going anywhere at all until Premier Bushimape comes and receive that letter of demands. But I guess we're just waiting to hear from MEC Tlhape together with MEC Moiloa to find out if they've been able to access Premier Bushimape and come to the legislature and receive that letter of demands from COSATU members.
Thank you very much, Refiloe Seboko in the Northwest. Let's go to Cape Town now, where Nasiphi is standing by. And Nasiphi, the memorandum has already been handed over, where you are received, I believe, by the Cape Town Mayor, Jordan Hill-Lewis.
Well, it's going to be a long day for the national shutdown leg in Cape Town, where they have quite a number of stops to hand over that memorandum with their demands to the various government departments. The first stop was the city of Cape Town, and as you put it, it was received by the city of Cape Town mayor, who also had a few remarks in regards to the tailored demands that they have for local government, which is to beef up security in hotspot areas where crime is perpetrated, and also to look at the water and electricity tariffs that are increasing. Now the protesters, or rather the marchers, are on their way to the Department of Mineral Resources, where a memorandum of demands tailor-made for that specific department will be handed over to authorities there. We do understand that for that department, what is on the cards is the increasing fuel price, which ultimately affects the increase or rather the cost of living for many, as we heard from some of the residents we spoke to during the course of the day, saying that they are struggling to make ends meet. And with the recent inflation increase, that is also going to be unbearable for them, taking into account that majority of these people that are part of this march, some of them are currently unemployed and rely on that 350 Rand a grant that they receive from government.
And Nasiphi, how does today's demonstration compare to a similar COSATU march that you in fact reported on 2-3 weeks ago?
Well, I mean, it's quite interesting because the demands that, we heard today are similar to the ones that we heard a few weeks ago from COSATU when they took to the streets of Cape Town, obviously trying to amplify their voice in some of the challenges that the poor and working class are currently facing, which is the same demands that, SAFTU has today. So it is quite interesting. However, speaking to one of the people that were part of the protest, highlighting that it's an indication that, people are a bit tired, taking into account the number of people that have come out. However, on the other side, saying that it is quite important for communities and, organizations to formalize and come together, not give up hope, and continue trying to amplify their voice up until such a point where government comes to the table and actually heeds to the call and cries of those that do take to the streets occasionally to make their voices heard.
Nasiphi, thank you very much for that update from Cape Town.